This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Watchmen Chapter 1. It's crazy to think that, depending if you count the motion comic or not, this is our second or third adaptation, and I say adaptation, I mean direct adaptation of Watchmen. Yes, it is a famous comic, and between that and Dark Knight Returns is one of the two most famous and most well-beloved comics. But it's just insane to think that we've had the same story adapted into two different movies and one motion comic. This is, in fact, my third review of the Watchmen story, with the first being of the comic itself, and the second being the Zack Snyder movie. And there's also like three versions of that movie, so it's just insane to think of how many adaptations and variations of the Watchmen story there are. Because there's gonna be another part to this one, making it a fourth review for me. Although this is only of half the story of Watchmen. And then there's also going to be a inevitable version of this movie that's released with 1 and 2 combined together. So yeah, honestly, there's just an insane amount of adaptations of this story and variations and ways you can watch it. All are telling the exact same story, and it's just really crazy to think about how many times Watchmen has been adapted. And obviously, this is hasn't been a review yet. It's been like 2 minutes of me just talking about how much Watchmen's been adapted, but I need to keep this different from my other two reviews of Watchmen. I know it's been like 2 years since I've looked at it, but honestly, this is, again, it's a really solid story. I'd say it's around same quality as the Snyder story, just animated instead of being live action. And yeah, it's doing a good job of telling the story of Watchmen. I mean, it's nothing new, and if you do own the Snyder version and you enjoy that, then there's no real need to buy this one. Although I think it's going to be even more faithful than the Snyder version, which at the end does change it from a giant squid-like alien attack to Dr. Manhattan being made into the enemy. And I think that this is going to be probably the closest where I'll still have that squid alien instead of Dr. Manhattan being framed for the attack. But yeah, honestly, there's just so many adaptations of Watchmen, and it's a solid adaptation. It's already a solid story, so it's more or less just like seeing the comic come to life, and the art form to this is way closer to comics since it is animation. It's able to be a little more close to that, while the live action movie obviously isn't going to look as much like the comic since it is in real life. But this is honestly just a solid adaptation. Nothing, super special. And again, this is the same story that has been adapted, again, as I said, depending on how you count it, 2 to 3 more times. This just adapts the beginning of the story up to Rorschach's arrest. And I think it's all really good. It does have to cut down on a little bit since it's ultimately going to be a 2 to 2.5 hour movie versus the because obviously it's already adapted half the story, so they probably could have pushed it to a 3-part movie and had it dragged out a little bit more, but we know exactly how that went for The Hobbit, and it's probably just a smarter idea for them to do a 2-part, especially with them already having a giant three-part crossover of Crisis on Infinite Earths that recently concluded. But yeah, honestly, as I said, it was a solid enough story. It is enjoyable, but if you like the standard version or just own it and don't want to buy a new version, nothing super different here. So, I want to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.